Hi, it's another Friday and you're welcome to the Premier League preview show on Citi TV. My name is Nathan Kwao. It's another weekend, week 33. The season is almost at the end, but there are so many stories that are still unresolved. We'll try and make meaning of the fixtures of or coming up this weekend. We've got a big one. It's Arsenal v Man United happening this weekend as well. So you can send us a question, a comment, anything you want to say via the WhatsApp number on your screen, 0550-585832, hashtag Citi Sports. Remember that the program is proudly brought to you by Mozart Bet. So visit their website, mozartbet.com.gh, for the best odds, the biggest payouts, and all the wonderful things you want to enjoy if you are a punter. And if you're watching us on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182, thank you very much for making us a part of your Friday. We'll take a very, very snappy break. When we come back, I introduce my guest and we start rolling. This is the Premier League preview show on Citi TV. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. This is the Premier League preview show on Citi TV. Let me introduce my guests, reprising their roles from, what was it, last week? No, 2 weeks ago. I'll try and get back to my calendar to see when was the last time I saw these two guys. But Eli Kema, for Charlie Kema, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Ethan.
Great. And Antonio Sydney, how are you doing?
I'm great, Ethan.
All right. Let's get into the fixtures for match week 33. Some teams are still behind in terms of the numbers, but let's see the fixtures. It's officially match week 33 of the Premier League. We've got Arsenal v Man United starting as of at the Emirates on Saturday morning at 11:30. It doesn't get bigger than this. A proper top four showdown here. 3 points for United will send them even. 3 points for Arsenal almost closes the door on Man United. We've got Leicester versus Aston Villa, Man City, Watford, Norwich and Newcastle, Brentford and Spurs. And then on Sunday, there's Brighton and Southampton, Burnley, Wolves, Chelsea and West London versus East London at Stamford Bridge, and Liverpool versus Everton, the Merseyside derby. The two teams are in the same neighborhood, separated by 400 meters, Stanley Park in between the two of them. And then there's Palace and Leeds on a Monday night. Very interesting game it should be at Selhurst Park. Palace, they are safe. Leeds, safe as well. The two teams will try and end their season on a positive note. Let's start off and let's focus on a London derby of very interesting proportions. West Ham traveling to Chelsea to play at Stamford Bridge. West London versus East London. West Ham are 7th. This season has been a successful one for them in terms of even European football. As they play in the Europa League. They've won 15 games, drawn 7, lost 11. They've scored 52 and conceded 43. While Chelsea, on the other hand, have done better in the scoring part, done better in the concession part, but in the last few weeks, their season seems to have developed a few hiccups. They've lost 5 games, drawn 9, won 18, and they are 3rd on the league. And some people even believe that Spurs, Arsenal to a large extent can even hunt Chelsea down and take 3rd spot from them. So we'll see how this plays out. This is a fascinating clash. Eli, let me start off with you. We've seen Chelsea. The last time we saw Chelsea play, they were losing to your dear Arsenal by 2-4. Very interesting display from Eddie Nketiah and his very good friends. Chelsea have to respond. They play at home again, and they face a West Ham side who are playing very well, especially in the Europa League, and who are hoping to secure another ticket to Europe next season.
Yeah, Chelsea, it was quite an interesting encounter on Wednesday. It was surprising to me, honestly, because I felt in the form that Arsenal were in the run-up to the match, with the many issues they're having at the back, Chelsea would have taken advantage of that and put the final nail in the coffin of Arsenal's quest for top 4, but that wasn't the case. The lineup surprised me, honestly. The kind of setup Thomas Tuchel put up on Wednesday, I didn't really get the information he was trying to give by sending out that lineup, because after going out of Europe last week and after clinching the FA Cup final spot, I think he had nothing to rest his players for. So he could have gone with his
I've had several people make that same argument. Why did he change the team?
Why he changed the team, I still don't know. But this is a West Ham game where he has the opportunity to bounce back. It's another home game. I don't see him dropping points in 2 consecutive home games after the history he's had with home games in the last 3 weeks. So I expect Chelsea to bounce back from the defeat on Wednesday.
Interesting. Sydney, your thoughts on Chelsea's performance? Eli Kem thought the setup was surprising. A lot of people seem to have question marks in terms of why Tuchel chose the set he chose on Wednesday. Your thoughts on what you saw and what that will mean for that game against West Ham over the weekend?
Well, what I saw was a Chelsea team which should have been buzzing, full of confidence, coming from just clinching the final spots in the KFA Cup. They fumbled badly. As Likema said, the lineup was a bit mind-boggling because these are players. You have players who are banging form. Even in defeat to Real Madrid, we saw the performance Chelsea put up. We saw what they did against Crystal Palace, and just to change the whole setup so dramatically, so drastically, and it puts a bit of a down and a damper on Chelsea's form coming into this game. But I think they can still claim the points because they did rest some players. Well, you can see that the resting wasn't really necessary, wasn't really important because they really have nothing more. The FA Cup final is a month or so away, and they have nothing more in Europe to fight for. They just have to keep on, have the gears taken on, preparing for that FA Cup final. So it was a bit surprising to see the performance they did put up. I was a bit encouraged by the way they did bounce back from getting conceding. They conceded 1-0, they came back shortly. 2-1, they came back shortly. 3-2, it seemed like a step too far for them to come back from. And if you look at some of the players that were playing, Malangsa, Loftus-Cheek, he did do well in the FA Cup game, but he's not really a starter in this game. And I think the absence of Kovacic really hurts them because Kovacic, I think, in my opinion, he's now their prime midfielder.
Okay.
And it's now a matter of who pairs Kovacic because if you look at his performances over the past few months, he has been a standout performer for Chelsea. And whenever he's in the team, you can see they operate on a different level. So I think his absence has hurt them a bit. But they should still have put a better performance because Arsenal themselves have a lot of issues. They have players missing, their midfield isn't too strong, their defense looking a bit wobbly, and Chelsea should have taken advantage. But missed opportunity, they don't cry over spilled smoke, they say. So heading into the West Ham game, I'm looking. I think the third loss in a row at home, and apparently that was the first time in about 30 years that happened. So I'm looking for them to bounce back from that loss. And West Ham to their last game, I think was a draw against Burnley. They are just making sure they don't have any major injuries for their Europa League campaign. But looking at who wants the game most, I think Chelsea would seek to take control of the game and assess their dominance more. So I think the Spurs will go to them tomorrow.
Eric, and just finally, when you look at Arsenal's display, and probably West Ham must have seen that game as part of their scouting, do you think it will urge David Moyes' players to try and see if they can get something out of this encounter? Elikem talks about West Ham just trying to make sure their season ends on a positive note. They want to see if they can win the Europa League. Do you think they'll look at this game and believe that maybe they could just give Chelsea a few more problems over the weekend?
Well, I don't. If I was David Moyes, I wouldn't actually be. I wouldn't actually consider this game a must win in quotes because I expect him to be in two minds right now. You look at David Moyes and you look at the point difference between he and those fighting for the Champions League spots. I do not believe David Moyes will have it in him to believe West Ham can actually sneak in on the last Champions League spot.
Okay.
With that being in mind, I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to have his eye more on the Europa League because from the way West Ham are playing in the Europa League, from the commentary you hear around the Olympic Stadium and around East London, you could actually feel. You can actually sense that they believe that they can win the Europa League. So I think
that's an automatic Champions League ticket.
Yes. So I think that their concentration will be on the Europa League more than the league matches for the remaining 6 games of the season. Because honestly, you look at them on the league table, the difference between them and Leicester. Even though Leicester is performing well in the past 2 weeks, has been performing well in the past 2 weeks, I don't think they are in danger of dropping out of the European places. So the league, for me, will be second in the list of priorities to West Ham right now. The Europa League takes the top spot for them.
Okay, all right, we'll see how that game plays out. Is Chelsea versus West Ham. That's over the weekend. That's on Sunday afternoon. Chelsea welcoming West Ham to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea losing 4-2 to Arsenal. They would hope to get some points on the board. It really wasn't a pleasant evening for them a few days ago. Let's move on to another grudge match. It's Liverpool versus Everton. Well, some people say it ceased to be a grudge match ages ago because Liverpool always dominate. But Liverpool, they are second They beat Man United very comprehensively, I must add. They've won 23 games, won 7, lost 2, 83 goals scored, 22 conceded. That's the golfing class we are talking about. And Everton are 17. They are on the opposite side of the table. They've won 8, drawn 5, lost 18, and they've conceded 30. They've scored 34, and conceded 53. Wow, that's shocking. Absolutely shocking. No wonder they are 17th. They are still in the relegation picture. It hasn't changed much, to be honest. They drew with Everton in midweek, while Burnley. They drew with Leicester. Yes, 1-1. Richarlison's late goal. While Burnley won yesterday, they beat Southampton by 2-0. So there's still that cat and mouse happening between Everton and Burnley. Sydney, first let's look at it from an Everton perspective. This is a trip I don't think they are looking forward to.
I think they should just, there's a game to take off and just concentrate, because this game 3-0 by halftime is my prediction, because this is the Liverpool team buzzing. They see how they just took Man United, broke them down, at all fears of the game, totally dominant. And this is a United team who are, although they're not in the best of forms, you can still say they'll present a much stronger position to this Everton team. Well, over the past couple of weeks, we have seen them playing better, making a win here, a point here, so on and so forth. But I don't think that they have a prayer in this game. If you look at the first leg, when they faced each other at Goodison Park, I think it was around 4-1, it could have been 6-1 or 7-0 or any scoreline. Just look at Mane. Look, a brilliant assist for Salah. And the Steveners, they're standing watching shadows. That's how I think Michael Keane and Yeremina and co also, because the players, the quality of the players, there's a golfing class, as I've said. Liverpool have strength in depth. They are pushing, or they are actually in the middle of the business end of the season, where they are looking to clinch 4 titles. They are going on strong. Everybody is on top form. They have no significant injuries. And look at Everton, who are struggling for form. They are now they are kind of crawling their way to survival. So I don't think they have much to offer in this game. They should just probably think as this game as a loss and just concentrate on the other games, because as you have said, the gap between they and Burnley is now just a point. Burnley won yesterday. Everton have a game in hand, but they have a point ahead. So it's not done for them. It's not done for,
you don't think that Everton are safe?
I don't think they are safe, because Burnley, one would have thought that once they sacked Sean Dyche, would have brought their season to a halt. But look at the performances since Sean Dyche has gone. They put a very good performance in West Ham. They arguably should have won. If Coney had taken that penalty, they might have won that game against West Ham. Look at what they did to Southampton yesterday. So they are still fighting. And Everton, they're not filling me with confidence that they have this unlock. They have this survival unlock, because they are still fortunate here and there. I think tomorrow they'll lose, but tomorrow is a game most teams will lose in the Premier League, so they shouldn't beat themselves up about that one too much.
Every time I look at Everton's situation, my mind takes me back to a very simple question. How did they get here? How did they go from a team that had ambitions of cracking Europa League football? Some people believe that they were even dreaming of Champions League football, to a team that is now scrapping and fighting against Burnley to survive for next season's Premier League campaign. Sorry.
Like we said the last time, it amounts to poor planning, and I say it again. Now, with every week passing, they make their situation more difficult. Sorry
about that.
Yeah, because you look at Everton right now. When you are fighting relegation, you do not drop home points, and they've been dropping home points in the past 5 weeks.
Okay, Elikem, just hold your horses there. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we get back to Elikem to take his thoughts on Liverpool v Everton. We'll talk a bit about Everton, talk some Liverpool stuff, and then we'll focus on other things. This is still the Premier League preview show. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Premier League preview show on Citi TV. My guests are still here, Sydney Antonio and Elikem. Elikem, you were making your point. You're talking about Everton and their issues and the potential danger of going down to the Championship.
They've made their situation more difficult, because when you look at, like I always say, when you are going into a relegation dogfight for the last 10 games of the season, you take the paper and you actually calculate, like Ghanaians say. You do calculations, the games you can win. And when you are doing the calculation, the first thing you do is you take your home games. You don't give any points away at all. But what they've done in the last week is they've been giving points away at home.
They did beat Man United.
Yes, but yesterday's the midweek game against Leicester, it was a game they should have won.
Okay,
that would have made this game even less important. But now, this game has become more important than any of the games they have left because they need a win. With Burnley on the hot chase behind them, they need a win against Liverpool. Whether they are going to get a win is the problem now because any result in the Burnley game, results this weekend might mean Everton will spend a week at least in the bottom three.
Who are Burnley? Are playing Wolves.
Burnley play Wolves.
And you look at Burnley have the upper hand ahead of Everton because they know how to navigate themselves in these situations. This is their bread and butter. They know how to go about relegation.
You don't think that Burnley may be affected by Dyche's departure? Do you think they'll find something from that situation to try and save their season?
To some extent, they will, because he's the one who he's the leader of this. He's the one who orchestrates it. But I think the players have the muscle memory for this.
Okay,
they are going to. They know they have the right mentality for this moment. While Everton have a lot of players, I look at this Everton squad and I see a lot of players who are scared to be in this situation because
except Pickford.
Yes, except Jordan Pickford, for example. But the rest are. Richarlison will be looking at himself and asking the rest, how come are we in this position? And the danger in this Everton squad is with the egos in this squad. Are some of the players not thinking to themselves, maybe I should seek a move away, even at this point in the season? That could be even worse than any result that could happen on Saturday.
Interesting stuff that we'll see. But guys, a few minutes on Liverpool. I think all of us around this table are concluding that they will win this game. I mean, it's just a matter of how many they will score.
Definitely, they are definitely winning this game. If they don't win, that would be, I think, one of the biggest shocks I've had in the league in a long time, and that says a lot about this Merseyside derby because, as you have said, it's no longer really a derby because it's a team where they're always being pulverized, always being trodden over and run over. So Liverpool are just playing magnificent football. They are just pairing at the moment, Watch Thiago with the ball is just so beautiful. It's like poetry in motion.
Yeah. When you guys, when we look at Everton's state and Liverpool's quality, do you get the sense Jurgen Klopp may change the team a bit? I think because Champions League is what next week.
Next week.
We have a Champions League.
Do you get the sense he will switch up the team slightly?
I don't. What you call switching up is even strengthening it because if he takes out Diaz, he's bringing in Jota, who is even more dangerous to Everton than anyone could be.
Okay.
Because there's quality all around that. Even if he switches up the team, they are still strong enough to beat Everton and beat them convincingly.
Interesting stuff. Let me read this one. You wanna?
Yeah. So if he does switch up, I just think maybe there are some players who definitely play. Van Dijk will be in there. Salah will be in there. And even if Salah is out, you have a lot of options you can bring in the midfield. A lot of options you can bring in. So as Elikema said, it's not really a matter of bringing their strength down, but it's just watching things up and gearing towards their Champions League game.
All right, let me just read this one in relation to this game. It's from our very good friend J the H. He says this looks like the easiest Merseyside derby for Liverpool till date, right? And he says last time they came to Anfield, we could barely field a fit team in an empty stadium too. We are out for blood in this game. Minimum 3-0. Liverpool are picking a minimum of 3 trophies this year. Liverpool fans are super confident, and they have every right to be confident. This team is hot, is in form, and is very dangerous. Extremely dangerous.
They have every single right to be so confident. And Jay has been pestering me about Liverpool. And, they have been on our case as United.
Yeah,
they have been on our case, but we allow them because they've gone through a lot of heartbreak out of pain. So this is their time to reign. So they should enjoy it. But we'll be back for them soon.
All right, let's move it on. Let's talk about the other game, which is it is the biggest game of the round, involving two teams with history, clout, tradition, pedigree. It is a game between Arsenal and Manchester United, Saturday morning at 11:30 at the Emirates. Let's have a look at the two teams. The two teams heading into this one. There you have it. Arsenal are 5th as we speak. They've won 18, drawn 3, lost 11, 49 scored, 39 conceded. While Man United are 6th, they've won 15, drawn 9 and lost 9, 52 scored and 48 conceded. United not looking too good in terms of the scoring and the concession bits of their game. This message from Emmanuel from Tema Community 25 says, Arsenal will discipline, beat and destroy Man United on Saturday. Says also top 4 is assured. Interesting. So Arsenal fans sounding confident there. So let me take your thoughts first, and then I get to Elikem. United have experienced a very poor season, a season that you can almost call a write-off. But the episode at Liverpool in midweek was probably the lowest the team probably has sunk in ages, and they have to pick themselves up and go to Arsenal, who are hot after beating Chelsea in form. They are chasing top 4. It should be a very complicated game for Man United.
It will be a very complicated game for United. Then we are looking at an Arsenal side who, if you look at the recent fixtures at home in previous seasons against United, they have been getting the upper hand. They've been getting the results. They've been getting the wins. They've been scoring against United. And this United team so bad, I can't even explain how bad this team has sunk. From attack to defense, let's look at the tail of the tape you just put up over there. The concession, 48 goals conceded by Manchester United at this point in the season. Come on. If you look at the league table, I think apart from one team, I think Leicester in the top half, no other team has conceded as much. And you have to go all the way down to about 15 or 14 to see a team who has conceded as much as United. And that's too much. And Rangnick, in one of his press post-match conferences, was bemoaning the quality of a goal United conceded. He was saying that no other team in the league might concede a goal like that. And it's very glaring because if you watch how all the teams in the league set up, some of the goals that United concede, they are too soft. Too soft. Even a Watford or, let me see, a Norwich will not even concede that kind of goal. At least these teams have a semblance of a defensive plan or defensive solidity. At least the players know what they have to do and how to approach certain scenarios. But if you look at, for example, the 2-1 goal conceded against Norwich, the goal Pukki gave the assist for.
Yes. The one that was scored.
The one that was scored. All over the place. Players being dragged out of position, players not knowing where to go. Just no defensive organization. You can look at the Liverpool. You can see Liverpool are one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah,
at the moment. But still, you have to look at the first goal, first 5 minutes, and you have 2 players running on the wing, whereas the 2 players supposed to be there are somewhere else. How is that possible? You have the right back and the right winger just ahead of the left-sided centre back and the left wing back as early as the 5th minute. How do you end up in a position like this if you have zero to no defensive solidity and organization? So I don't think United are even getting a draw in this game because Arsenal will be looking to build. Arsenal, after the 3 losses they had, everybody was saying it's over for them, and they made a huge point when they played against Chelsea. And then he came in, he stabilized the midfield. Everybody was saying Partey wasn't there, so their ending could look a bit shaky. But Eleni came in and he showed that he has the ability to do something. Even if the young chap from Belgium, Lukonga, can't really, he's finding it a bit difficult. And then he stepped in and he showed his class. So I think in this game, they'll go with a similar lineup. I think Lacazette might come back inside. But I don't think United stand much of a chance when it comes to tomorrow's game because it's even 11:30 kickoff, which United.
There's this myth about early kickoffs and all of that.
And United don't do an 11:30 kickoff.
Let's look at it from an Arsenal perspective. What should they do to get the result they need? Because whatever it is, Arsenal's top 4 hopes will hang on this result. If they get that result, they open a 6-point gap on Man United, and it's almost game over for United as we speak. And then we will see what they do. What can Arsenal do to really, really give United headaches?
I don't think they have to do much because if you look at Arsenal's recent defeats, save for perhaps the defeats against Crystal Palace, against Brighton, they were playing good football. They were stringing the passes together. But they just came up against a Brighton side who have developed a sort of resilience to play against the big teams and who showed a bit of a sharp edge up front. You look at the loss against Southampton. Arsenal played a lot of good football. They had an early chance, which if they had capitalized on, the game might have been so much more different. But Saka missed the chance, and Southampton went on to score 2 Bednarek. And Arsenal had a lot of chances to equalize and go on to win. But for the brilliance of the keeper on the day, the Southampton keeper, I think, was forced on that day. He saved them incredibly, a lot of saves to keep them in the game. And you see what they did against Chelsea. At the point, they were just tearing the Chelsea midfield apart. They're doing extremely well on the counter-attack. Arsenal, they are a well-coached side. Save, you can say they have some issues, but you can see that the benefits of coaching in the way they play, the way they approach the opposition, their triangles, in the way they approach the match, you can see that they are a well-coached side. So I think any well-coached side will feast against this United team. The way the space they leave between the number 6 and the defensive line is too huge a gap. And any good team will definitely capitalize. And Arsenal have a lot of good players who can operate in that hole. We have the likes of Odegaard who can do that. Saka comes in. I don't know if Martinelli, Smith, two other players. So you have a lot of cute players who can take advantage of that laxity in a defensive organization for United. So I think Arsenal don't really fancy their chances tomorrow. They don't have to change much because, as you have seen, most teams don't do much to get results against United. So
you just have to show up and play 50% of your ability. Elike, we saw Edin Ketia. He had been arguing, speaking. He wants games. He wants minutes. Scored 2 against him. Does Mikel Arteta retain him in the starting 11? Or it's time to bring back Lacazette?
A quick one on Edin Ketia. It's just funny that anytime a player is playing for a contract at Arsenal, he instantly hits form. And it's a problem. It happened with Aubameyang, it happened with Mesut Ozil. It's happening with Edin Ketia and Mohamed Elneny. Because these are players who were nailed on to be leaving at the end of the season. Now the club is in 2 minds. Look at their form. Should we at least give them an extra year or 2? So that's just by the way. But I think it's a no-brainer. Edin Ketia starts.
Okay.
Lacazette has been in poor form for the majority of the year. If you are going to keep it at that, he's not scored from open play in the last 17 games also.
Wow!
And that's a remarkable record for someone who is the club striker and the captain of the team. So you wonder how Arsenal have been surviving with.
Is the situation complicated by the comments he made in that very popular interview from a few days ago where he said he wants to play Champions League football and all of that?
Well, not necessarily, I think, because it's something that is known to everyone around the club that he's going to be speaking to other clubs. Maybe coming out to say it is what complicates the issue, but I don't think Mikel Arteta has taken it like the way he takes other situations. I think everything has been so, because against Chelsea, he actually came in for the last 2 minutes of the game. I don't know if he's returning from COVID, so he had COVID and he's recovering. So you see, it's one of those things. And Edin Ketia is in good form, so I think Edin Ketia starts.
Okay,
the odds favor Arsenal, obviously, but United have Ronaldo.
Okay, let me ask you this. From looking at it from an Arsenal perspective, obviously, if United will succeed in this game, how will they succeed in this game?
The midfield. And that's why I think Arsenal are lucky, because United do not have any midfielder who can control the game in that middle. I feared it was going to be Paul Pogba, but he's out. So
probably until the end
that leaves us with Fred McTominay. These guys are there to intercept and disrupt the play from the opponent. They are not there to necessarily control the game. Bruno Fernandes cannot control the game by himself. Then that's one problem for United in this game. But I say United have Ronaldo.
And you feel that makes a difference?
You see, for this game, I looked at the game and I was thinking to myself yesterday and today, where can United win this game? And all over the pitch, I think Arsenal have enough in them to fall whatever threat United pose. But when you have a player like Cristiano Ronaldo, who has a good record against Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium, anything can happen.
But he will need service, and United don't look like a team that can set him up for anything.
Nathan, Cristiano Ronaldo scored a hat-trick against Tottenham Hotspur at Old Trafford. A hat-trick it just had to happen. Ronaldo just had to score a hat-trick against Tottenham Hotspur. And I'm just hoping it doesn't have one of those days. Coming back from all that has happened in the last week, it is enough motivation for someone like Cristiano Ronaldo.
Okay,
if United are going to get anything out of this game, it is through him.
All right, let me read a couple of messages. Kofi Supremo says, I won't be surprised if the Gengan pressing yields no result tomorrow. This Man United team is extremely poor. This one says, Arsenal won top 4 they will do everything to put Man United down. And Emmanuel from Temakom 25, I read his message earlier. He says Arsenal will discipline, beat and destroy Man United. All right, still watching the Premier League preview show. One City TV, my guests are still here. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we get into the debate. Today we are back to Old Trafford to ask a very, very interesting question about the new man who will be taking charge in July. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. This is the Premier League preview show live on Citi TV, proudly brought to you by Mozart Bet. Visit their website, mozartbet.com.gh. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. This is the Premier League preview show on Citi TV. We've gone through some of your messages. Please keep a lot more of them coming through on the WhatsApp number 0550 585832. Now that we've dealt with the matches, let's move on to some other things. Let's get into the debate. Welcome back. This is the debate on the Premier League preview show. Today we are asking the most obvious question really after events at Old Trafford. We are asking, is Erik ten Hag the man to bring back the glory days to Man United? Is Ten Hag the man to bring back the glory days to Man United? All of a sudden, United are in the news for more pleasant reasons than after the 4-0 to Liverpool. So we're asking if the Dutchman is the man to bring back the glory days. Elika, let me take your thoughts. I don't know can he? Is he the man to do it?
Well, I look at United and whatever is wrong with the team, and I see the team in tatters from top. I see the officials, the board, have it wrong. The players are not good enough. The manager wasn't good enough. So there needed to be a solution in different aspects of the team. For now, I feel they've got the manager right, but that's just one of the many issues wrong with the club. So in Erik ten Hag, they've got a manager who, in 3 years' time, will set the club at least on the right path.
Okay.
I look at Erik ten Hag and I see the buzz around his signing and all that, and I understand it. You look at what he's done at Ajax, the kind of football he plays at Ajax, and that tells me that. And I'm just thinking, look, even if this manager doesn't win the Premier League or Champions League or any trophy, of course you have to win one trophy at least, at the end of his 3 years, what I think should be guaranteed from Erik ten Hag is he sets this club on the right path in terms of the player recruitment, in terms of the style and identity of the team, and in terms of a structure, a team structure, and one important thing people forget: team balance. So that is my only thing I'm expecting of him, and I think he's going to do it for Manchester United.
So you don't think that he will probably bring back the glory days fully? You think that he will set the team up for the next big step?
That's the least requirements I'm expecting of him.
Okay.
I'm thinking this United team there's a lot of mess in this United team. There are a lot of players who need to be shifted on, but there are also some who need to be shifted on huge salaries. So it's going to be a lot of work to be done in this team, and I'm not listening in from the outside, I'm not looking at him and saying he has to win a title, he has to win this. No. If I was a United fan, I would be thinking, allow this man sort out the mess. Then maybe even if he's not able to win at the end of his 3 years,
he sets the team
up for someone to come take.
Okay. You mentioned United having problems in layers, so you feel that the coaching appointment makes sense.
Yes.
So what do you think should be done to clean out whatever problems there are?
In the last few years, United's transfer strategy has been very poor. I do not think they buy with a plan, and it's something I've tried to find explanation to some of their transfers, and I think what they do is have players scouted for a long period of time, and when they do not get some targets they want initially, they just go in for those ones. Not necessarily in sync with the coach's plan or maybe whatever they want to do with the team. So that is my major criticism for them. So for that, they need to get it right. They need to get someone to take care of the transfers.
Okay.
So that is also one at the official level. The board, the CEO and Richard Arnold, and whatever is happening with the Glazers, they need to sort that out too.
Okay. Interesting stuff there. Interesting thoughts from Eric. Sydney, you are more of the United persuasion. I know how you feel about the appointment. The man takes over July 1. Is he the one to bring back the days of winning 5-0, 5-0, 5-0, 5-0, cups overflowing?
I would say he's the one. And that's being very optimistic, because as Elikem has rightly pointed out, there's a lot of issues that need to be sorted out. But it's a good first step. and I think we are seeing the fruits of Rangnick's more of his role upstairs. It's more of advisory role, because I don't think United would have gone for Ten Hag if not Rangnick was not there. I think United have gone for Pochettino, because that's a coach they have been pursuing for years now, and they've tagged him to be the saviors come and save United. Then out of nowhere, Ten Hag has just come to cross him, and I think that has partly to do with the influence of Rangnick. And I think Rangnick also has a large role to play if United is going to be successful, because he is going to take the consultancy role. And I'm hearing sounds of him recruiting Paul Mitchell, former Monaco, former Spurs top guy, to come and join him. There are rumblings of Steve.
In which role? As well, technical director?
Yes, as a director.
So Darren Fletcher leaves?
Yes, Darren Fletcher
leaves. That excites me greatly.
that because you see people like Fletcher, what's their qualifications to be in the position they are at United? Look at people like John Mehta. What are their qualifications to be the head of planning a successful title charge, a successful European campaign, successful recruitment for a team? Like, they don't have that kind of expertise. They don't have that kind of experience. Okay. And for a team like United, with the riches they have, you should be able to go out and get the best in the market for certain positions, certain roles that are sensitive, roles that are crucial to the success of any football team. And United have been stumbling all over the place, getting this wrong time and time again. At least now we have seen Woodward out. Now we have seen just this week news came out that the club's head coach, head scouts, and head of recruitment have also been dispensed with, awaiting new appointments from, I think, advice from Rangnick or dictate who comes in next. So it's looking like there are a lot of positive moves being made behind the scenes, and there will need to be more of that to provide Ten Hag the framework in which he can succeed, because he has the ideas. We have seen what he can do. We have seen the kind of football he can play, and this team needs. You have seen that he's not just a manager; he's a coach. And United need a coach. You don't need somebody to just come and manage players' egos and just let them feel free. They need a coach to come and coach them in the basic rudiments of the game, because it seems as if they have forgotten how to even defend as a team, how to attack, how to just contain a opposition as a team. They have forgotten all these things. So they need a coach to come in and take them to a refresher course, if you like it. It starts all over again.
Teach them how to play football again.
And I think that's something Ten Hag can do.
Okay, just final note. Both of you seem to think that Eric Ten Hag, at least in terms of the appointment, makes sense. What do you think should be the first thing he does? Between now and when because clearly between now and when he officially takes charge, I'm sure he will be making moves on the quiet.
For me, off the top of my head, I think it's one issue that is prevalent in this Manchester United team. What does he do with Harry Maguire as captain of Manchester United? It is one of the issues he needs to sort out, because
you feel that he should. You feel it's a priority.
It has gone beyond trolling to actual abuse at a Manchester United captain. The Manchester United team has a lot of issues tactically, but when you look at the main issues, what he can solve right now without even starting the job, is what he does with him as a captain. I personally think Ten Hag is going to try to work with him for at least a season to try to see how best he can use him to his best capabilities. But whatever is happening with Harry Maguire, the disconnect between a Manchester United captain and the fans needs to be solved and it needs to be settled.
Okay. Sydney.
The first thing he has to do, he has to get in consultation with the board and Rangnick, he has to get the right person in for player recruitment, because now we have seen that the head scout has been sacked.
Jim Lawler and Marcel Bout.
Yes, they are both out. Yeah. So the first thing he has to do is he has to consult with Rangnick and John Mehta to be able to get the right person in that role, if it's going to be Paul Mitchell, whoever is going to come in, because that is going to dictate how the season is going to go. Okay. Because as Rangnick said, we can't have about 10 incomings, and we can't afford.
Isn't that a bit too huge?
I don't think it's too huge, Nathan, because 10. Look at the players out of contract, number one.
I get that.
And look at what the team needs on top of the players who are even leaving.
But I think it's about 10 new players you have to integrate, groom, teach. he himself has to understand this league.
Yes, and then the need to do it because he's now coming in fresh with new ideas, with a new style of play. So he can only implement that with players who can fit what he wants to do in the long term, in the medium term. So I don't think 10 is. I think if it was up to me, 20 will be good enough because I don't think any of the players in the team right now, De Gea, I don't think he deserves. You can go to one by one. And none of
so
them,
it means essentially United have to essentially put together a new team ahead of next season.
A fresh new team, hungry players with desire, players who are not coming just for a paycheck, players who are not coming to just compose stuff on their Instagram and Twitter, and they said new players who are hungry, who have the desire to represent the team to the best of their abilities, and that's what needs to be done.
All right, we'll see what happens to Man United. Erik ten Hag officially starts work on July 1. We'll see what recruitments are done. Ragnick says as many as 10 players could potentially come. That's a lot. But so that, I mean, you can decide. Look, if you're watching us, you can send us your thoughts. The debate can also continue. We're asking if Ralph Rangnick is the man to bring back the glory days. Yes, no, I can't tell. Anyway, still watching the Premier League preview show. We'll take a very quick break. When we come back, we've got the FPL zone. Interesting picks for you this weekend as you try and wrap up your season and win that league that you and your friends have been fighting over. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. This is still the Premier League preview show on Citi TV. So now that we are done with the debate, let's get into the FPL zone. Welcome to the FPL zone on the Premier League preview show. Yes, I know you were expecting the Oracle. He's not around, but he left me with the notes. He left me with the tips and pointers. Killer tips that if you employ this weekend, you'll be eating good in terms of the points. Let's get into it. The first two players we'll talk about are your potential captain picks. Why? Because they've got two manageable games that they can do very well in, and games that they should dominate and have an influence over. Let's start off with Liverpool's Egyptian wide man. It is Mohamed Salah playing at home to Everton. Everton have been losing at Anfield for years, and it looks like it might happen again. Salah playing now. Salah had not been scoring until he met Man United. Scored twice. He's in good form again. I'm sure he would want to continue. So Mohamed Salah, you should consider. Kevin De Bruyne, he's playing at home to Watford. Watford are in dire straits. It looks like they are already gone. They are not playing well. They travel to the Etihad. It may not end well for them. Kevin De Bruyne is in the mix. He's had to be rested, especially after the demands of the Champions League. He played that FA Cup game, but he will be back fully for that league game between Man City and Watford. So those are your two potential captain picks. Mo Salah, Kevin De Bruyne. Either one should work, unless, of course, Pep decides to pull a Pep and he will bench KDB. So that's in terms of the captain's pick. Let's move on to the other player this weekend, Reece James. Chelsea's Reece James. He had been out for a while, but he returned. He's looked good in the last few games. Yes, Chelsea did not win against Arsenal, but Reece James has looked the part. And against West Ham, following what happened between Chelsea, what happened to them when they played Arsenal, Tuchel would want his team to make a point, and it looks like Reece James will be a good addition to the team that will line up against West Ham. Chelsea don't have any major headaches except trying to hold on to third and close that door. They've got an FA Cup later, but Reece James should be your pick. If you have your team, you are trying to find another defender, Reece James should be on your list of players you are considering, because it's likely he will be getting a good set of points this weekend. So Salah, KDB, your captain picks. Either one should make sense. And Reece James, a player you should have in your team if you want to succeed this weekend. Maybe you can add a couple of Arsenal players, maybe Nketiah, maybe Saka. I cannot tell. But these are the players. Let's have a look at the fixtures as we wrap it up. There you have it. The big one. Arsenal versus Man United. Guys, let me try and get a prediction, a scoreline from everybody. Arsenal to win?
3-1.
3-1, okay.
4-1.
Wow, 4-1. I like that. Let's get into the relegation scrap first. Let's talk Liverpool-Everton.
3-0 at halftime.
3-0 at halftime. We don't know what it will be at full time.
I think Everton will be lucky to concede 4.
If they concede 4, they are lucky.
They are lucky.
Okay, all right. The other one, Burnley Wolves, because that's also very heavy on the relegation front.
I think Burnley will win. Burnley will win it.
Wow.
Burnley are going to win. I like I said, they are in this situation. They know how to navigate themselves.
Okay.
I kind of fancy Wolves in this one. I think it'll be a 2-1 for
So between Burnley and Wolves, it will be as you were.
Exactly.
And then we get into next weekend.
Exactly.
All right, interesting stuff. Sydney, thank you. Elikem, thank you. And thank you very much for watching. Premier League preview show. It's been fun. The fixtures are there. The games, of course, are live on Citi 97.3 FM over the weekend. So please make time to enjoy the coverage on Citi 97.3 FM. My name is Nathan. This has been the Premier League preview show. We are back next Friday with more. Hopefully, we should get more clarity on top four and on relegation. Probably who's winning the title at the end of the season. We'll catch you next Friday. Have a super weekend. Take care and stay safe.